Hey there, I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate. And today we're taking a look at the Whatnot cabinet from Pencil First Games.
The Whatnot Cabinet is a pattern building puzzle game where players are trying to get unique, intriguing items into their Whatnot cabinets. Let's take a look at it on the table.
All right, I have the Whatnot cabinet on the table here. A game of rare, unusual, and intriguing objects. Let me show you this game. In this game, you're going to make sure that all players have different pawns that are going to be placed onto this action selection board. If you were playing a two-player game, then you would make sure that the two players had two of the same color of pawns, where the player who goes second is also going to get to go third, and the player who goes first is also going to go again at the end of the round. But as it is, we'll leave it set up here for a four-player game. You're going to then make sure that there are 4 tiles at the beginning of the round drawn at random from the bag over there. Now on these tiles, you're going to have 5 different objects and 5 different colors. Let me show you what you see here. You have animals, you have gems, you have leaves, and you have jars. Now, the one that I don't have out here are shells. And as you can see, that 4 of the 5 colors are purple, blue, green, and red. The 5th color that you don't see is yellow. Now, a round is very simple. Whoever's at the beginning of the player track up here is going to get to go first. So in this case, it is the darker blue color. And they get their choice from one of the 5 different actions out here. Let me go over each one. The first action is going to let you draw 3 tiles at random from the bag. You keep 2 of them, placing them anywhere on your board, and then you discard the other one. It's removed from the game. So you don't really know what you're going to get if you take this first action. The second action is going to give you a little bit more control. You're going to draw 2 tiles from the bag, take one, place it on your board, and then place the other into the outdoors. And then for your second tile, you're going to pick one from the outdoors. And if I didn't mention it already, you're going to be placing 2 tiles on your board no matter what action you take. If you do the third action, you're going to draw 1 tile from the bag, place it into the outdoors, and then draw 2 tiles from the outdoors to place on your board. So there's a little bit more control as you go down this board. The fourth action is going to allow you to add 2 tiles from the bag to the outdoors, and then take 2 tiles from the outdoors to put on your board. If you didn't catch the difference between the fourth and the third is the third, you're only drawing 1 tile. The fourth, you're drawing 2 tiles from the bag. And then lastly, the 5th option is a little bit different. You're going to discard all the tiles from the outdoors, draw 4 new tiles from the bag, placing them into the outdoors, and then placing 2 of those onto your board. And the catch to all of this is wherever you place your pawn, that's where your pawn's going to move up for determining player order for the next round. So if you go towards this end of the board, you're going to get to go first, but you're not really sure to know what you're going to get because you're just drawing at random from that bag. So what does it matter what I take and where I put it on my board? Well, that's the whole crux of the game. You are trying to fill up columns and rows. And the different ways that you score most of your points in this game, as you can see, if you're filling up a row and they're all different, so you can see there are 3 different, A, B, C, meaning 3 different types of objects. So again, animals, gems, and leaves. Let's say that those are the 3 that I have, and I complete a row. Well, that is going to give me 1 point. And you can see right there it says 1. And I take one of these little cardboard ones and I place it next to that row when I have completed it, and that has indicated that I have completed that row for 1 point. Now, if they were all the same, so let's pretend that I had 3 animals here instead of what I have, then I would get 3 points and I would take a 3 token there. Now, for columns, you're going to get more points because you have to get 4 to complete a column. If they're all different colors, you're going to get 2 points. But if they're all the same, you're going to get 4 points. And that's pretty much it. You once you place a tile, it has to stay there. You can't move them around, so you're stuck with what you do when you've placed it. And you're going to try to do your best to get the most points, obviously, trying to get same objects, same colors to maximize your points. But if you're not able to do that, then you want to try to get them to be all different. What you don't want is 2 of the same color and then 2 different colors, or 3 of the same colors and 1 different, 2 different and 1 that's the same, or 2 same and 1 different, because then you don't get any points and you have to place one of these blank tokens out there. Now, in addition to that, you're going to have these curiosity cards up here at the top, and these are going to grant additional points to the first person who satisfies whatever is on the card. So you can see here 4 of the same object type, and it can be anywhere on the board. So if you can get 4 animals, let's say, and you're the first person to get 4 of the same, you can claim this and you're going to get 2 points at the end of the game. You can see that there are lots of different types here, and not only do you have 5 that you play the game with, but there are several more that you can pick and choose from to make the game much more replayable there. And then you're also going to have 1 wonder card that is going to give you extra points for a certain type of object. In this case, 1 point for every animal. However, there are other cards that you can pick from and further customize your game. Now, there are a couple of other tiles that I do want to show you real quick that are a little bit different. If you were to pick this tile out here, it essentially allows you to do the 5th action, where you take all of the outdoors and you replace them with 4 new ones, except on this one, you're only drawing 1 tile to place onto your board, whereas the 5th action allowed you to take 2 tiles. And then this tile right here is that you are going to draw 1 tile at random from the bag, placing it onto your board. And the reason why you might want to do this is because taking this tile gives you a point. So you hold on to this tile and it will give you a point at the end of the game. Now you play 6 rounds and the game will be over once you fill up your entire board, and you're going to count up all the points that you have from your tokens from your rows and columns. You'll get, again, 1 point for any one of these tiles that you've taken, 1 point for every tile that matches the wonder card, and any points that you might have claimed from the curiosity cards. And whoever has the most points is the winner. And that is how you play the Whatnot cabinet. Now, real quick, there is also a deck of solo cards, so you can play this game in solo mode. I'll leave you to figure out how that works on your own, but you do have that as an option in this game. So there you go. Let's go back up top, and we're going to share our thoughts on this one. All right, so here's Sam and I doing a 2-player playthrough of the Whatnot cabinet, and right now we're going to share our thoughts on this game. I'll go first. I thought this was an enjoyable experience. I thought, this was a game that you can sit down and not have to feel like, you're going to burn your brain out or stress too much while you're playing it. It's got a relaxing, calming theme to it. I mean, you're just kind of casually going throughout the your surroundings and picking up things, placing them in your cabinet. I mean, the theme is calming in and of itself. And so I thought the game kind of fit well with that. Sam, what were your initial feelings and thoughts on the Whatnot cabinet?
I mean, it's a very easy game to understand. It's very good for non-gamers. It's quick. It's simple. It has some kind of, I thought it has like some King Domino type feelings with the tiles and how you pick them and where you place them and stuff. It is a little simple. I think it would be great for very novice game players or younger game players because it is very easy to understand. There's just not a whole lot of loops or tricks, or it's very straightforward.
Yeah, right, and that was the word that I was going to say there. You said it right there at the end. It is straightforward, right? I mean, this is a tile placing game. And the crux of it is making sure you place those tiles where you really want to place them, setting yourself up for success towards the end of the game. And that's really what this game is. Now, I will say that can be fun, that challenge of placing the tiles in a way that gets you the best results towards the end of the game. And it can also be kind of frustrating too when you look at that board in the middle where you're taking your different actions and the other players take the action that you really need.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so as a non-gamer, Sam, is that something that maybe rubs you the wrong way when it comes to that kind of experience with these kinds of games?
I mean, it can for sure. And I could definitely see as a very new player to games, it being frustrating to somebody who's really just trying to learn games and they don't do it very often. I think I've played enough at this point where little things like that don't get under my skin as easily as maybe they used to, but I can see that being something that non-gamers could be frustrated with.
Yeah, just that experience of, I know what I need to do. I've put the brain energy into figuring out what I need to do to make my plan work, and then here you come along and just completely keep me from being able to enact that. You know, as gamers, that's a fun experience. That's part of the game. That's the competition. But you know, sometimes for someone who's not that competitive, perhaps that can be kind of a bad experience. But I would say that this game is so straightforward, and it's not a long game. It's a shorter experience. I shouldn't say it's short. That I don't think that probably burns people too much. Would you agree with that, Sam?
Yeah. I think if it's one of those games that kind of drags on a little bit and you're constantly being
Right.
losing your spot, then yeah, it would be more frustrating. But I think this is a quick enough game to where it doesn't have time to,
Now, I do want to say on this real quick, player count I do think matters in this game. As you can see here, Sam and I are doing the 2-player variant, which allows players to get to place 2 of their pawns, taking 2 actions each round. And that really kind of helps you out a lot in the 2-player version. When you're playing, you know, at the higher player counts, that board's going to get the action board in the middle is going to get really restrictive if you aren't going towards the beginning of the round.
Yeah.
So that is something to keep in mind, and it does play into strategy that if you're a person who's going last quite often, you're probably not going to do very well in this game and not have a good experience with it, but that is part of the game. So Sam, real quick, the things that you do like about this game. You like that it's a quick, fun, fast experience.
Very easy to understand.
Okay.
And it's unique. I mean, we don't have a lot of games like this, but it is just a very straightforward game.
Okay. All right. And overall, you do think that this was one that would work well with non-gamers?
Yeah, I think this is a really good one to play with non-gamers.
And I would agree with that too, folks. I think that this is one that is easy to understand, and there's not a lot of setup in putting it out on the table. Doesn't take long to explain it. And it's got straightforward gameplay. So Sam, scale of 1 to 10, love to hate. What do you give the Whatnot cabinet?
I'd probably give it a 7.0.
Okay. Yeah, I'm right there kind of with you in the same ballpark. I'm probably going to give this a 6.9. I think it's right there on it being a great game. It's going to be one that is going to have to fight for being able to stay on the table amongst all the, numerous games there are out there. But if you're somebody who's needing a tile laying action selection game that you can play with just about any person, not just hardcore gamers, then I think the Whatnot Cabinet's a game that would work really well for you in that regard. So there you go.
Well, make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
All right, I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.